Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Karthik Narayanan, and I am legal intern in LEXIS and Company. Today, I am going to discuss Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India, which is one of the important judgment of Supreme Court. So, before we move to this judgment, it is very important to know and understand the judgment of A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras. So, let's move to the facts of the case. Maneka Gandhi got her passport issued in 1976 June 1st by Passport Act 1967. And after that, in 1977 July 2nd, she was asked to surrender her passport in Delhi Regional Passport Office. She had planned to go abroad, so because of this reason, she was not able to go abroad. So as per the Article 32 of the Indian Constitution, for constitutional remedies, one can directly move to Supreme Court. So she moved to Supreme Court, claiming that the fundamental rights which are mentioned in Article 19 of the Constitution and her personal liberty is getting violated over here. So she directly moved to Supreme Court. So this was the facts of the case. So the issues that was there before the Supreme Court for adjudicating the case was as follows: like whether to go abroad is a fundamental right or not, or whether the Passport Act 1967 is valid or not, or whether the Act violated Article 14, Article 19 and Article 21 of the Indian Constitution or not, or whether the freedom of speech and expression is confined to Indian territory only or not. So these are some important questions which the Supreme Court had to decide for adjudicating the case. So the argument of Maneka Gandhi was as follows: that it infringes the fundamental rights, such as the right to freedom of speech and expression, the right to life, the right of personal liberty, the right to travel abroad, and right to freedom of movement. So these are some rights which is violated because of the Passport Act 1977 and by the impounding her passport. And according to her, Article 14, Article 19 and Article 21 are the article which has to be read together, and that is not mutually exclusive. If these articles read together, then only the citizens will get the proper justice. And also, even though the India didn't adopt American concept of due process of law, the procedure established by law, which is mentioned under the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, is something that should be reasonable, that should be justifiable, and shouldn't be arbitrary. So I will just explain what is Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. So Article 21 of the Indian Constitution says that no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to provisions established by law. So she is claiming that the provisions established by law in Article 21 shouldn't be arbitrary, should be fair, and also should be reasonable. But in this case, that was not reasonable, because she was not given with any justification before impounding her passport. And also, even though there is no right or there is no mentioning in our constitution that even someone is accused for a crime, he has right of being heard. He has right of being heard, and that is not mentioning our Indian Constitution. But then also that is something which is very essential for getting or for implementing the fundamental right for everyone, even though there is no explicitly mentioning in our Constitution. So that was her argument. So the argument of respondents were as follows: the procedures established by law in Article 21 is not something the laws which is according to the rule of natural justice, but it is according to the procedures established by law. So here the Passport Act 1967 is something which is established by law. So that is reasonable, and also the government has every right to impound the passport according to their discretion. And also they argued that procedure established by law shouldn't pass the test of reasonability and should not necessarily consonance with the Article 14 and Article 19 of the Indian Constitution. So this was the argument of the respondents. Finally, the Supreme Court rendered the judgment that Passport Act is void, because right to travel is something which is conferred by Article 21 of the Constitution, and even the personal liberty is deprived. The requirements which are there in Article 14. Article 14 means the right to equality, and the Article 19 are applicable to every citizen. And the procedure established by law according to Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, must be fair, reasonable, justifiable. But here, according to the Passport Act 1977, the restriction which is the restrictions are that is not justifiable. That is like arbitrary. So because of that, that can't be applied over here, and the personal liberty is in question here. So here, unlike the previous judgment of A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras, the Supreme Court has given wider interpretation to Article 21 of the Constitution, the wider interpretation to personal liberty. Personal liberty is something which is having all those rights which are mentioned under the Article 19 and all. So that was the adjudication of Supreme Court. So that was here in previous judgment of A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras, the opposite view the Supreme Court has taken, but in this judgment the Supreme Court has taken this view, and hence it became a landmark judgment. So it is very important to understand the A.K. Gopalan judgment before we go to this section. So that's all about this case law of Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India. Thank you and have a nice day.